I'm in the iconic Financial Times building, right on the river, as I hope you can see in the background. And I'm here at the launch of a very interesting report released today by the Corporate Learning Alliance. And I'm going to talk to its CEO about it. So welcome, Gustav Nordback. Thank you for agreeing to talk to me. And I hope you're pleased with the third Pulse report. And again, a bit of academic rigor, bringing data to bear and to explore business issues and business trends, and particularly trends within executive education. So tell me, why did you decide to create that Pulse report? This is the third one, so it's a series. What is it in essence, is the Pulse report?
In essence, we're looking to measure the attitudes and intents of senior business leaders across the world, really, and understand what are the pressing business issues to them today. But in order to have an ongoing trend to measure this year in and year out, to really understand what's top of their mind and what they need to do to develop their organizations.
How many did you talk to?
So above 1,000, about 1,030 organizations.
From how many countries?
13 countries.
Okay.
Focused mainly on Western Europe, the Middle East, and Japan.
Yes. US?
Not the US.
Not the US this time. This
US.
is really a European and broader document rather than one that is 90% US.
That's
which
true.
makes it
That's
interesting,
right.
which makes it different
to
to many of the trend reports that come out. So, what are the big headlines from the third Pulse report?
I think the big headline of this year is really the level of importance that we see that business leaders place in cybersecurity. So this is the number one priority this year, and it's grown 75% in significance. And this is, as is obvious, the risk environment, the global risk environment, and the increase we have seen in cyber attacks. And that's really putting it at the top of priorities.
It's really scary. Think of British Airways in the last 10 days, 350,000 people.
Absolutely.
And the window was only open for a few days.
Absolutely.
That's the enormity of what can happen.
Yeah.
So if cybersecurity is number one, what was number two?
So digital issues came out as number two, and really looking at digitization, the impact of digitization, as well as how businesses can leverage big data in smart and unique ways. So very much on the digital side.
Right. And where does leadership, concern for improving leadership, building leadership pipelines, is that featuring heavily in the report?
Absolutely, and I think this is a clear trend upward, and we see that it's growing in importance and significance. Business leaders increasingly realize the importance of really developing leaders from within, building them within the organizations, developing their skills in order to tackle and handle transformation, in order to handle organizational change. But also really a focus on developing and managing a shift in mindset, so they are prepared to manage such a volatile world we operate in today.
And is that from the C-suite right the way through, or is the C-suite distinct away from the rest of the organization?
That's yet another trend we're seeing, is that it's really penetrating the whole organization now, moving away from just being C-suite. So that's very powerful to see, and really realizing the importance of creating learning organizations.
Yes, right across the board. So that's emerging from the middle and from the learning team, as well as something being driven top down from the C-suite.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this report is the third. Are there any astonishing shifts between the first and second and third report? Well, maybe not astonishing, but are there any notable shifts emerging between the first two and this third report?
I think one notable shift that we see is organizational change is something that's really becoming a top priority as well. I think this is a result of seeing the impacts of transformation, and businesses realizing how they need to future-proof their organizations, and that means realizing how are we going to manage the organizational change and preparing their teams in order to manage this.
Seems to me like you're saying there's almost a greater sense of urgency and a greater sense of realism coming through this third report. Everything is slightly accelerating. People are getting more anxious and need to do more to achieve what they need to achieve. Is that your view as well?
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair statement. I think it's really again driven by transformational questions. I mean, we've seen some topics and priorities reduce in importance, such as financial management, such as M&A, and so forth. So it's interesting to see that there's an overriding trend, digital and transformation and change, which is impacting quite a lot of the priorities that we see.
Is there any distinction between the data that you've got from the rest of the world and the data from the UK? Is the UK in any way distinct from everyone else?
So yes, we see a clear difference when it comes to organizational change. This is something where the UK sees it as a bigger priority. We also see geopolitical questions, starting to increase in significance, and obviously there are questions specifically around Brexit, which might be impacting how businesses are thinking and preparing for these changes.
I think we should leave it and hang on those last words. It's about a partnership, helping organisations be fit for purpose for this age now and the age that is coming. And I have to say that you've made it very easy for people to download the report, and there's a 6-minute video which you've prepared, which kind of introduces the main topics. Both are freely available, and you can see on the screen where you can get those. Very good to talk to you, Gustav, and good luck with the organisation. And I hope that I'll be coming back to talk to you about the 4th, 5th and 6th Pulse reports as we go forward.
Very good. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.